Hey guys, we're back with Bantercast again. This is the podcast that I do with 40 and Zodi, and we are back with 40 this time. And we just talk about JP, DFFOO, and other stuff that we can think of off the top of our heads. But sometimes we do this twice a month, once a month. It all depends on how much info there is. The reason why we're doing it this time is because 40's been busy with IRL stuff and wanted to catch up with him on DFFOO because it's good to have him and hear his thoughts. And also we have the OPOP stuff that came out a couple days ago for the mid-September. So how are you guys doing?
So far, so good.
Go ahead, Zodi. 40.
Oh, Zodi, go ahead, Zodi. If you have anything else to say.
Yeah, if I'm a little slow at the moment, I accidentally dozed off like 20 minutes before I was supposed to. Blobs was going to start his podcast, so I apologize in advance. So that's all I have to say right now. I'll let it over to 40.
I've been good. Things have finally started to get better, I guess. New place. Finally, we're almost unpacked at the new place. Office is looking better. Finally got a new job, which I start in October. From DFFOO though, I just play like it's another chore, and I have a lot to say about it when we get to that topic about the state of the game and stuff. Because and I think and there's other people that share the same sentiment that I do. So yeah. But other than that, I'm great.
Yeah, it's good to hear that things are turning around for you, because I know that it's been quite stressful for you. And glad that you started with that new job soon.
Yeah, no, for real, I needed it.
So I guess we can start on just the last things that happened, because we never got to hear your thoughts on Aerith, BT, and Zaka for our last time. On how you do with them.
What was it? I let me check Twitter, because I shared my polls, and I think they were good, but I have to double check. Let's see, Aerith. No, Pain I pitied. I know that.
Same. I didn't plan to, but yeah. Game decided to, well, the F4 at least, but Game decided to say, hey, here's the BT. He's like, well, man.
Shoot, let me see. Did I even? You know what? I don't have any. I don't have the screenshots for some reason, but I know that I got them fairly early. I got both of them really early, and which was a good thing, because right after that, right after Quina, Pain decided to make me pity her. So, but yeah, everything I got them fairly early, from what I remember.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. And my thoughts on them, I think they're great. Zach's is not nearly as is pretty straightforward, not as super specific as it needs as some other FR conditions that we've seen. And Aerith BT I think is super cool because of the fact that it provides you with that follow up. I think every time you hit like a certain amount of stacks, right, or something like that.
Yeah, it's like every time 3 turns pass, or you take 3 actions, then you can do that follow up.
Kind of reminds me of Garnet's follow up. Kind of reminds me of that. And then the BT effect not expiring unless like HP goes down below like a certain percentage. I think that's actually kind of cool. And it's not hard to keep your HP up unless like you're running across a ton of like HP poison and constant HP attacks. But I think the burst effect is pretty fun and it's pretty cool. I mean, I picked it up. I greened her. I'm pretty happy with her. So
have you been using her more often, or like in these recent like fights lately?
Yeah, I took her to Quina's. I also took her to what was the most recent one that we just had? Pain's.
Pain, yeah.
Yeah, I just took her. I took her to that one too. Yeah, I just like having. I like having the BT effect always active as long as I don't. I don't lose as a lot of HP. I think it's super cool and super useful.
Yeah, Zach's FR is, well, he's more on the board again
Yeah,
with the tank.
yeah.
And they finally
Um,
added some more damage to him, which I don't think he really needed, but I guess now his skill 2 does 9 HP dumps, which is nice.
yeah, I know. It's what is it with these Final Fantasy VII characters always getting a ton of HP dumps?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder too.
I know, right?
Like, you guys like 7 here, have all these HP dumps. It's like, cool, thanks. I wonder if Sephiroth's gonna have like 12 at this point on his skill too.
It wouldn't be
No, I wouldn't put it past him.
wouldn't past him if he had like 10 HP dumps.
Yeah, what's he have, like 7 currently?
Not
Oh,
enough
that's
apparently for today's standards.
No, definitely not.
But yeah, in terms of like these BTs and FRs, these, I mean, I guess we can touch on this now, but most of these are current Shinryus that once the and now that it's been happening for a while, but when FRs and BTs become more and more common with every character having a BT now, the Shinryu is starting to get kicked up in difficulty. I noticed, like, the fight becomes almost like a joke if you have the featured character's FR, but then if you don't have them, then the fights become quite tedious and annoying. Do you guys agree or disagree or?
Oh no, I agree. Because I was
I
trying to
agree.
do a recording without pain, and I got really close a couple times, but it's just dispelling the effect. And yeah, Quina's BT can bypass that, but I was trying to do some Quinaless, but like you said, it's just it's either you have the unit or you can't dispel the FR effect for the most part, and you're doing either zeros or, like I said, if you have Quina for the latest event, you don't have that issue with the BT's effect up, but once that falls down, you're back to doing zeros. Unless you guys know of some other way you could do more damage.
It's mostly like the FR abilities that rapidly charge for them, for the bosses,
Yeah.
and then once they pop off, then they have like extremely long FR durations, and you just have to either cancel it some weird janky way, or you just have to like let a bunch of turns pass or reset. Which I don't know. Most of these
Yeah, not
FRs
much.
just are really somewhat oppressive or pretty oppressive.
Yeah. Like, I don't mind an increase in difficulty, but I don't like it in exchange of, oh, you must use the featured unit. Like, I understand having an easier time using the featured unit. That does make sense, and this might sound a bit contradictory, and I'm not trying to. But, and I also understand it's a gotcha, but I just don't like this, oh, yeah, you don't have Vex unit? Well, prepare to suffer, basically, what the game does. Like, I even seen some other people on some of the other servers I'm a part of having trouble with that frog fight. And yeah, I might have had Quina, I might have cleared it in 8 turns, but I've seen other people struggling on it for far longer than that. So yeah, like you said, it's just getting far, far more impressive with their game mechanics.
Yeah. I mean, I'm all for difficulty, but then also I'm not liking the fact that, hey, if our ability means you do 0 damage or 1 brave damage or 1 HP damage. I mean, if you do 1 brave damage, that's fine because brave heal is a thing. But if you're just doing like no damage at all, then it's just not fun.
No, it's absolutely not fun one bit.
What do you think, 40?
I'm in pretty much in the same agreement. I've noticed that. I mean, when Force Echo first came out, it was pretty busted, and you didn't necessarily need to pull for the next upcoming unit if you already had access to like maybe 2 or 3 of the FR Echoes, and then all of a sudden they threw us these like mechanics that were like, oh, well, it seems like you kind of need this, or you need to replicate it somehow. But if you replicate it, like you're still going to struggle if you don't have the actual unit, which is, it's a gotcha. I understand, but I could see from like in the past how, we've had like these hiccups with this game where content gets stale or like content gets a little too wild, where it could kind of turn players away from kind of deter players from like actually enjoying the game. Because I tried a Quineless run with Quina's story Shinryu, and it was hard as hell. Like I was like, dude, this is so tired, this is so tedious, and like I don't even know if this is even worth it, because I was just trying to see, okay, like, is it possible to do it? It's possible. It's just they definitely made it significantly. I think they made it harder, and I get that some lockout. Lockouts are fine, but to a certain degree. But when you're creating a stage and you're really, really basing it off of the featured unit, to where like other units, it's very difficult to replicate it with like other units. It's I don't know. I'm not really a fan of it, but I can see what they're trying to do, because content previously has been pretty easy, but for players that are trying to be conservative, and are trying to like just have like that solid roster that they can count on, this could be a bit of a deterrent, so
yeah, kind of wish that there was the other featured unit was actually had FR boards or even contributed more to the fight.
Yeah.
Like the other featured BT characters, like, okay, I guess they realized that, hey, no one's pulling for the featured character, or they already had it, and then they just like would steamroll it. But I guess, I mean, I don't like that it's either we're getting to a point where it's like, hey, you gotta like spend like all your resources trying to hope to pray to God that you get lucky to get that far, or you kind of what is it? How do I put this? You basically almost skip the fight, or you walk away with about a third of the rewards, because right now all the rewards are like kind of centered around the event tickets.
They are.
I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, you get one ticket from beating the Lufenia, so you at least walk away with one ticket, worst comes to worst. 2, if you beat it without a friend unit. 3, if you beat it with the featured character and no friend unit. And yeah.
Wait, hold on. I thought the Shinryu was the one that you need to beat it with the featured and no friend unit, right?
Yeah, that's
the Lufenia?
Yeah. Well, Lufenia, if you just beat it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's 3 multis you can just walk away with. So, it's... I can understand that they want to make the game more difficult by not relying on friend units, but, I mean, it would be nice if you could rely a little bit more on friend units, so then it wouldn't be... You can at least use someone's, like, the featured character on whoever pull for it. But I guess they want to incentivize more people to pull for these characters.
Yeah, because it really makes it like that. Like, is it really worth it? Like, we have to, kind of make that decision. Like, is it really worth to invest in this character and be able to get that last ticket, for that one multi that could potentially give you the next feature weapon, or is it fine just to walk away? And at this point, like, if from a general player perspective, like if we're talking like, we're not talking like everybody's a veteran, everybody's beginner. Like, just from the general perspective, I don't think it's personally worth it. I think it's fine to just walk away from it. One multi, missing out on one multi is fine. You'll at least get one. But yeah, it does seem like locking it. It does seem like locking it behind having to pull, because I mean, you could take the featured unit to the Shinryu, but if they're not built, they're dead weight. I mean, you would really, really need to try to like bring like the best of the best to like even carry that unit. But now that they're designing these fights, very specifically to the featured FR, then what's even the point,
Yeah, I think the bare minimum you want for these fights is at least everything up to their FR. Yeah. And I'm seeing some people struggle with even character board points, and yeah, you need a lot of character board points for these characters. You need their FR passives if you haven't been building them. I mean, like Pain wasn't built for me, so I didn't have her like fully built out. I'm still capped on character board point because I have the premium log pass, but not everyone can afford that, and that's expensive every single month. And it stacks up with all these new characters and even characters that don't have FRs, and it's stacking up pretty much. It's pretty high. We don't even get the co-ops with the character board points every co-op anymore.
Yeah, they also spread it out in a way where returning players don't have very many resources they can get. Like, say you left for a couple months, well, tough luck. You just missed out on, getting potential books to build, some of the back roster you shouldn't have left, basically, is what they're saying. Like, I don't think it's bad to put aside a gacha for a little bit just to do some IRL stuff. I did that with Global DFFOO. I'm taking a quick break from that so I don't get tired of the game, because I like the game, but... yeah, if I did that on JP too, I'd be missing out on a lot of potential resources as well.
Yeah, I guess we just talk about the new structures. Like, structure of events is kind of, it's good in certain aspects and bad in some other aspects. Yeah, they give you a lot of rewards at once for like the month, but then if you miss them, then you're screwed. Like, if you miss, I think, this event, then you don't get a lot of the front-loaded like BT materials. Like, there's a lot of BT books and ingots, and if you miss the last one, then you missed out on maybe like 20k gems and a lot more gems. And I'm pretty sure the next event's probably going to be a summit event, so yeah, that's permanent content, but I'm being sure there's going to be even more like other like rewards to do with it. But I guess how do I put this? It's more just like, I like it more so that we just have the events more spread out in 1 week, and that we can just do it at our own pace instead of being overwhelmed with multiple events at once in 1 week.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like that structural change.
On a different note, I guess we can talk more about Quina, the new character from last time. I guess 40's the one who, me and Zodi gave our thoughts on Quina. I like Quina. Sure, it's, I don't know, is it he or she, or I guess I would call it a she, because that's the force that kind of...
was... Oh, go ahead. I wasn't trying to interrupt you.
No,
I was
go ahead.
Gonna say that Quina, the whole joke in 9 was they did know what Quina was, but I always thought Quina was a she. Because they were too, like, it was basically, they were too awkward to ask Quina, like, what Quina was. So that was the whole, yes, exactly, that was the whole joke. They didn't want to approach Quina and ask.
Yeah, I always assumed that Quina was female, but yeah, who knows?
I guess it was just ambiguous, but Quina's kit itself is very good. There's a lot of strong auras built into Quina, and very diverse in the fact that Quina has a strong trap in her LD, rainbow numbers built into the EX, and that really strong skill 1 transformation from the BT.
Oh my gosh, yeah. It's pretty nutty how much damage that can do. I think the BT effect lasting 5 turns is to balance it out, but it's still a really, really powerful. It's really, really powerful. I was shocked at how powerful it is. Like that skill 1, if it's under like the if it's active while there's an FR gauge active and you have that percentage up, it just melts enemies. It's just so crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I
Yeah.
did some extensive testing on see who does more damage, Quina or Tifa, and I mean, it's no surprise that Tifa does more damage on
Yeah.
front-loaded on single target, because I think I tested it and it's like Quina does at cap like 42 million with capped FR and all that, but Tifa can do up to 70 million, but I think that's fair. Tifa just straight up just front-loaded DPS on a single target.
Yeah.
Quina is DPS and a lot of support utility and auras, strong auras.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead.
Yeah, for a supportive unit to be able to dish out that much damage is pretty it's pretty nutty.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If it lasted one more turn for 6 turns, and then that would mean that you could get full use out of the entire like BT phase, just going ham with it. I can understand why it has to be a little bit shorter, because maximum wave damage is something that is very, very strong.
Yeah, the rainbow numbers.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much.
rainbow numbers, but also not rainbow numbers. It's rainbow numbers. I don't know how they described it. It's just like it's maximum brave damage, but it's like they put it in, but then someone said in quotation, it's not the same as like Setzer's, where it just sets your brave to maximum. I think it's a slight downgrade between Setzer's rainbow numbers.
Yeah.
But yeah, Quina is a very good pickup if you want to get Quina. Same with Aerith BT. Zac FR. I mean, Zac's a favorite regardless, but I think a lot of people are still going to pick up Zac because Zac's still a good tank.
Yeah, he's great. I think he's still great, you know.
Mm-hmm.
He's still very good.
Yeah, Zac's always a safe pickup, especially still having that powerful BT effect.
Yeah. But I'm noticing now that if, in terms of just tanks, I'm still using Rubicante more and more and more.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Rubicante is
Rubicante is a new Celeste in terms of solo content.
Pretty gnarly unit, you know. Just how much they gave him.
Mm-hmm.
And he could also charge the gauge himself. Like he can turbocharge the gauge with that skill too.
I think the only thing that would make I guess in this current timeline of like current content would make him even more busted, or at least a character that would enable him to be more busted, is if we had Beatrix FR boards or Core FR boards. Anyone that can make him or really make your team immortal. Aerith kind of fits that situation right now, but the golden debuff lasting 4 turns is good and kind of bad, because you want to kind of like jumpstart the overhead buff by pressing skill 1, but then you lose out on 1 turn on that safety net that could potentially save you.
Yeah, no, that's definitely one of the downsides to it, but even then, like you said, it's still really powerful. Maybe not as powerful as I hyped it up initially. I was really excited. Maybe it was a little bias on my part for Era, but it's I do agree it's still really, really good.
Yeah. I mean, I apologize that we're not like staying on, like we're just jumping back and forth between topics and whatnot, but yeah, Aerith's BT is one of those like very, very good BTs because it has a lot of HP dumps, which scales really, really nicely with FR bonuses, but I think you still want to kind of like press it early just in case for that safety net. make sure that your team doesn't die from unexpected FR like attacks, and what were these just in like strong AoE attacks. But I guess we can go on to current stuff with Pain. So Pain, FR, and BT, they brought back the what's it called, positional gimmick with her, which and made it better. What do you guys think of it?
I think it's great and pretty versatile.
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot more people like say that. Oh, you probably might want her on more on the left side.
I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that silence is pretty life saving. I'm in agreement with that.
Yeah, and that constant HP damage poison.
Yep. I mean, the accelerate is cool. Okay, the additional turn, whatnot. But I would rather have her on the left side and just have her be more oppressive to enemies.
Yeah.
Because I really don't think the accelerate. It's like I said, I think it's cool, but I don't think it's nearly. I don't feel like it's nearly as needed.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel about it.
What do you think, Zodi?
Well, I'll be quite honest. I didn't get her BT because I pitied both Quina and Aerith back to back, and that
Fair.
sort of sucked a lot of resources out of me.
Mhm.
Despite getting her FR onto free tickets, so I might consider tokening it down the line. But from what I've seen of reading that right now, because believe it or not, I wasn't well versed or read up on her BT's effect. I'm not gonna lie, until maybe 20 minutes ago, and it looks pretty strong. I mean, I knew it did the poison effect, but I didn't know it was position based. I just thought that the rest of her kit was. So I'd say it's definitely unique, and it's definitely strong, and it gives you playstyle options if you wanted to go for the accelerate. But like you said, the other option looks to be the best one personally.
Mm-hmm. And I completely forgot that she had that she can cleanse your party and remove buffs on the bosses. That's how long it's been since I've used Pain.
Yep, so she needed an upgrade. So
yeah, she's more on the
and
board
she
now.
finally got it. Yep.
Last time I used her was honestly, it was the right gate of Transcendence 10. It's whatever one was the boss was the whatever you call the one that was like the I think it was Garland's chaos. That thing, the thing with the laser at the bottom of it, it's like sitting on a throne.
Oh, the
I can't
colorless
think of its
queen.
name. Yes, the colorless queen. Yes, that's the last time I think I used her was against that thing, or it was some other boss. They kept attacking you, and she just made it a joke even back then with her powerful effects.
Yeah, I think I said before that I unfortunately had to pity the FR. And 40, you said you had to pity. Did you pity the BT or FR?
I pitied the BT, but I got the FR like multiple times, so I think it made up for it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
I mean, I like her kit. I'll probably have to decide to build up her BT once we hear who the next character is, the mystery character on the following event, because I don't know, they're hinting I don't know, based on Pain's animation of having she who shall not be named daggers. I don't know, I'm feeling like something big might happen next month again. If Quina is a good standard of like animation or whatnot.
I mean, Quina being finally being in the game, I guess is a small glimmer of hope for some of these characters that we've all been wanting to see or have rather been data mined years ago, and when we're still wondering when they're coming out. So we'll just have to see. But my bet is it's going to be some random NPC that we've never even heard of again. Just watch.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna huff some Ring of Fates, Yuri's game copium, And I'm hoping, since I've seen a presence of CC characters in the recent chapter, that maybe we'll get a character from this game, but it's probably not. Let's be real, they're probably never going to get from another unit. He's in the pile of characters that definitely aren't going to get anyone else, sadly. So, I don't know, we'll see. But if it is the character She Shall Not Be Named, I'm definitely gonna pull for her because I am a fan. I do like my thief/bandit type characters and things. So, and she fits that criteria.
Watch that.
But
Watch that
Dodie,
be
she's
like
a machinist.
It's like watch that be
Go.
like the only like reference to her for the entire rest of the year.
I wouldn't be surprised because, again, to go back to the whole Yuri thing, I'm not trying to keep bringing him up. They mentioned 2 characters from his game 2 years ago. We still haven't gotten anyone. It was a whole chapter, and funny enough, they didn't mention a particular character that would have liked these particular apples they were talking about. They mentioned 2 other characters instead, so I'm like, wow. And yeah, we still haven't gotten them. Not even a glimmer of them. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just like, oh yeah, she still exists. By the way, you still can't have her. But we gave you Quina. You should be happy.
Yeah, Quina's animations are top notch.
Oh no, absolutely. They translated Quina like remarkably well to this game. I was sort of concerned how they would do her, and I'm just glad that she's finally added. I'm so happy.
Yeah, it's the frog stuff is very nice, and a giant frog just falling on top of all the enemies is very, very funny. I guess the only bad thing about Quina's kit is that she takes a while to build up this overhead stacks. I kind of wish that the overhead stacks kind of like had a little bit of a jump start when you had the EX like fully plus and build, but I guess not.
Yeah, she's one of those, like you said, one of those units that just takes a couple turns to get going, but definitely once they get going, oh boy, they get going.
But
well, it's also good they can't be dispelled, so that's also a plus. They're not like
the overhead buff.
Zande, who had an issue with EX buff getting dispelled and slowing them down.
But it's like the only downside with Quina, I would say, is if the boss is immune to being broken, which I wouldn't be surprised if the next Spiritus is, then Quina is going to be heavily slowed down. Which would suck.
That would suck, because didn't they do that with Jack Garland?
Yep.
Yeah, so many times.
And that was so obnoxious.
They did that with Vayne. Well, global players are going to see it very, very soon with Vayne and Cloud Darkness when they try to fight their first Spiritus and realize that boss is immune to a lot of things.
Yeah,
and
it was pretty annoying. It's pretty obnoxious.
Straight up cucks their Vaynes and Cloud Darkness's FR conditions. But speaking of FF12, Balthier BT.
Balthier BT.
Excited, but also wondering if I should skip it.
I mean, I got his FR already.
I do too, and I was just gonna token it, but then I seen that Lon and Rain are with him. I'm not gonna pretend to be some huge Lon and Rain fan, but it's the FR partner that's with them. It's Yuri. I'm like, oh, come on! I'm like, that's cool that they finally put the twin sets together, the 2 twin set units. But it's like, why? I bet it's gonna be a really cool. At least I hope it's gonna be a cool animation.
Shalinka and Yuri together. And the twins.
Like I said, I'm huffing my Ring of Fates copium. If I get a little bit of Ring of Fates content in this game, it's not even my favorite Final Fantasy, it's my second one, so I have a lot of nostalgia towards it. But if I can just get that, I'd be happy, but I might end up skipping it and just tokening Balthier's BT. I know, fake fan, but that's what 2 BT pities kind of does to you. It kind of lowers your motivation to pull.
Yeah. I think this might be like what the fourth character that has a follow-up built in for the FF12 kit.
Yeah, that's that seems to be their gimmick.
Yeah, FF12 characters seem to be liking to have follow-ups. Ash has a follow-up. Vayne has a follow-up. I mean, Vaughn already had a follow-up built into his main kit, but Ash has a follow-up. I wouldn't be surprised if Penelope is gonna get a follow-up.
She's probably gonna get a massive amount of follow-ups to encourage players not to spam skill 1 or 2.
Fran's probably gonna get a follow-up. Both Bosch probably might have a counter.
Yeah,
Maybe
I could see that.
follow-up. Oh, I guess
That's
Gabrant
true as
doesn't
well.
have a follow-up. I guess that's safe, so it doesn't break the whole entire gimmick.
And same with I know some wouldn't consider him True 12, but I'll call him Lloyd. He doesn't have. I know it's more like Liud, but I'll call him Lloyd. It sounds better. He doesn't have anything like that either, but you know, it's still it's kind of neat. But I know follow-up seems to be the new thing they give characters if they don't know what else to give their BT effect, which is
Yeah.
kinda. I don't know. It's kinda lazy in my eyes, but I say if it makes the character, or you can put them in your rotation constantly, cool.
Hopefully, Balthier does more damage than Ash. Ash is unfortunately not that great even with F1 BT. Her damage is not the best, and she lacks quite a bit of radio. Just her potencies and damage, or outright is not that strong, or the boss is just just getting tankier and tankier, and it's just not enough.
Well, at least Ash is not as disappointing as Jesse.
Who?
I was the only Jessie enthusiast, and I will retract my comment. No, she's not worth picking up. I did use her a bit. I enjoyed her. She was fun. She paired well with Geis. No, don't pick her up, please. Save your time.
I'm very sad about how I know we're getting off topic, but I'm just really sad about how her FR conditions are so specific. It's so hard to build around her. Like, I don't know.
You don't use her, or
she's definitely a character that when they first announced her, it's like Square knew what they were trying to do. I mean, you know, she's FF7 pretty much remake, because I'm pretty sure that's the FF7 remake version of her. It's got to be. And you know, people are gonna bust out their wallets because it's freaking Jessie. It's FF7. She became more lovable in the remake, but man, it was her kit. Like after trying to make her work for like several Shinryus after she came out, I was like, her kit's ass. Why? It just is. It's so disappointing. I'm not very happy with what they did. It's like they were trying to. She was pretty much a cash grab, and then afterward, people had buyer's remorse because they're like, shit, she sucks.
Yeah, she's definitely the bait character right before the new era.
Yeah, but I mean, I would rather take Ash over her.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that for the utility she provides. Although I was like a big oh, Jessie does this, does that. I still think Jessie could have a niche. We just don't have anyone that pairs well with her FR.
No, we don't. It's very little.
It's
you have Geist, but
swapping.
who's gonna run Geist besides me? Nobody. He's garbage.
Yeah, Jessie.
Yeah.
You need to like turn swap and like have Jessie be following it after her.
Yeah, and then I just spam her LD at the end because it has instant turn rate. But at this point, 4 HP dumps isn't gonna cut it. Even with BT auras up, it's not good anymore. It's not the standard. The standard is it's basically do 6 or raise your HP cap up or raise the party's HP damage cap up or get out.
Or hope to God that your FR Echo is enough damage to close out the fight, and hopefully that your FR Echo is the only skill you need to press for that character.
Yeah.
Yeah. the last fight I could use Jesse on was Warrior of Light's Intertwined Will, and I actually did not use Warrior of Light on that team, or a friend's Warrior of Light. I think I used a Garnet friend. I had to use a Garnet friend for the Echo, but yeah, even then, it's too gimmicky to recommend.
Yeah, it
She's
is.
fun when you get her going, but no, not worth it.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah.
think most people are probably just gonna have to wait until, or most people are probably gonna wait until she comes back with the BT.
That'd be the smart thing to do, as long as they don't make her underwhelming again,
Yeah.
or at least give her some more characters that pair well with her, please. Because Kais and Noctis isn't gonna cut it, at least in the current content.
Or Ram,
Yeah.
or I think Ash and Ram probably might be the two safest bets, maybe. Or maybe Sid Reigns.
Yeah, he could potentially work. It's really beneficial if it's like ranged and it delays or it turn warps.
Yeah.
The only two that do that are, like I said, Kais and well, no, Cloud has instant turn rate, but I don't know how that works because I never ran Cloud with Jesse, of all things. But yeah, it's way too specific. If you want to get like an 80% bonus or a 90% bonus, you need, like I said, Noctis or Kais.
So
Yeah.
Speaking of just like weird kind of designs, I'm kind of worried about Balthier's like FR and beat. Well, his FR is already kind of badly designed as is, because most of the FR percentages is front loaded into stealing buffs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And after seeing the BT info, I mean, I'm kind of worried that it's not enough.
I mean, the Gorgon shot debuff I think is pretty powerful. I mean, it's pretty much like it's like having a Raijin, a Raijin LD debuff, but it seems like it all like it's in the form of a follow-up debuff, which I think is cool. But yeah, I think the problem with Balthier's kit, I don't really think it's the BT. I think the BT is fine because the Gorgon shot prevents damage. It's his FR. It's so specific, kind of like what we were just talking about Jesse. Like, he needs to steal something. Well, what if you come across fights where enemies aren't really buffing themselves often? It's like a gamble trying to run that. I was saying, I think I mentioned this on a stream, and one of you guys, or both of you guys might have been present, but I was saying they should have like a character. This would be a fun design if they had a character that could put like buffs on enemies, but then they would like after the buffs expire, they would transform into debuffs. I think then that would incentivize using Balthier a little bit more, to his full capability. If they had some way for you to give enemies buffs, or some kind of a character that would do that, and I'm pretty sure like in the future, depending on how long this game lasts, they could come up with something like that. Then I could see Balthier's kit as a whole, especially with his FR being a bit more desirable to use. But that FR is his FR being so specific is his biggest issue. I actually kind of like the BT. I like having another safety net of like, oh well, you can't do any damage to me, and cool. It's more so his FR is kind of, it's questionable. It's too specific.
Yeah, and even as an Echo, the one issue is you're still using 2 turns when you use it, because you're using it, you have instant turn rate.
Oh, it is
instant
turn rate.
I really hate about his kit, because you need to line him up properly. You want him to go either right before the enemies are going to attack, so hopefully they'll buff themselves, or you have to go right before an ally, that isn't going to turn warp, isn't going to have instant turn rate, so you don't eat through his whole FR duration.
Yeah, I mean, realistically, you only have, you don't want to have your FR turns go below 8. 8 is, seems to be the magic number that you want to aim for, and if you have too many characters that have instant turn rate on their FR abilities, you're gonna get to that 7 or 8, and then, well, if you get to 8, then you can summon right after the BT phase, and then deal a lot of extra damage. 7, yeah, you still get the BT finisher. I mean,
yeah, no, I know it's kind of, yeah, it sounds kind of hypocritical because I was just mentioning about, oh, Jesse has instant turn rate on her LD, she can charge it up fast, or her FR gauge, but yeah, it's good with off-turn damage dealers, but at this point, they're they're starting to lose their luster just a little bit. I mean, they're still good. They're still really good. I'm not.
Yeah, it's good in
fighting.
specific in some, not in all situations, but more in like uncommon situations. It's just I think these fights are just becoming harder and harder, and then I think we're getting that difficulty kick up that I think a lot of people might have expected coming eventually, but didn't think that it would be here already.
No, I agree. It's you have to trade off their off-turn damage for more survivability, like kind of utility in your party.
Yeah.
Or you need to you need somebody with an echo. And every off-turn damage dealer, to my knowledge, besides of course the counter tank himself, Rubicante, doesn't have any kind of echo at the moment.
Yeah.
If I'm okay, Garnet does, but hers is every 3 turns. And same with Aerith, but they're not. I wouldn't call them the most consistent off-turn damage dealers, but it still exists.
If only we got Kane FR boards.
I know, right? But I think they did that on purpose, so we wouldn't be able to. Oh, we're gonna do that, and then we'll use her as LD, and we'll go back and up in the air. No, they want to punish you. They want to eat through your FR gauge.
Kind of want to touch up on something we just talked about again. Sorry, going a little off topic, but that's what annoys me about this new structure is like when they introduced FR Echo, the first ones we got, what was it, like Terra and Garnet, right? And you're like, oh, okay, this is kind of cool. They bring a new FR that introduces FR Echo, and then they bring back an old FR that has an FR Echo, and they should have kept that. Because what's the point of releasing another, of re-releasing an FR previously that's not getting an echo? Like when they did with Mog and Kane, like what was up with that? Kane's FR is like is arguably the worst in the game.
It is, yeah.
And he desperately needed that, so it would at least incentivize you to use it.
Yeah.
But I don't understand why they didn't follow through with that. With that structure. I thought they should have kept that like as a permanent thing. So then that way, like we were discussing earlier, with these recent Shinryus, they feel like they're being built around the featured unit. At least it incentivizes you to, oh, look, I pulled this other unit. They also have their FR Echo. So it incentivizes me to use them for these fights. But instead, it's like they're picking and choosing who to give the Force Echo to. With the re-released FRs, and it's kind of annoying that they went that route where it's like they either get it or they don't just quite yet. I don't understand that structure that they took with this. So
yeah, I think one streamer that MMO streamer described it the best. You don't build around new players trying to get into your game. If they're not going to get into the game, they're not getting into the game. You don't build around like banners like that for people like that. You need to prioritize the veteran players, the people who are actually still already invested into the game and want to play the game. So them just like doing, they set like a false precedent about like having like another character being featured with the FR boards. And then they did it with Cloud Darkness. It's like, okay, so this might be the common. Then now they haven't done it ever since. So it's like, what the hell? Having no like alternatives.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying that they should have just kept it going. So it would give players more incentive to use some of these older characters that receive FR prior. But it is what it is. But yeah, I just wanted to make that point.
Yeah, we missed out on Cam FR boards, Titus FR boards, Yuna. A lot of these characters that could use a bit of a boost and be brought back into the spotlight. And it's a missed opportunity.
Also, Cloud of Darkness getting a rework was kind of
not having a rework. Yeah, because I told people this like who are pulling for Cloud Darkness, like FR when it comes out, it's like if you either pull for it now and get use out of Cloud Darkness, or you don't pull it at all, because realistically, if you pull it again when she comes back with FR boards, her only strongest hitting skill is her FR. Everything else does not hit hard enough. Even with her gimmick of lower HP damage consumption, it's not enough. She hits like a red noodle.
Yeah, and then her off-turn damage is nothing to write home about. And I
Yep.
didn't care that they didn't buff that because they didn't need to buff that. That
She
shouldn't be what her
she
kit
needed
revolves
BT
around.
rework.
Yeah,
At least
she needed effects. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she needed BT at least something potency increases because before when she came out for those Shinryus, it was fine. Now we're having much tankier bosses and have almost like double, triple the HP they had, like the HP scaling in those previous and when she came out, maybe quadruple at this point.
Yeah. Like, I was sort of salty initially about Charlotta's rework, and I still think it could have been just like a hair better, just a tiny bit, but it's a lot better than what I thought it was. But it's just really kind of unfortunate Cloud of Darkness did not get even a small rework.
So, I mean, sorry about that. We kind of forgot about both of you, but yeah. I think I wanted to say was before that, I think strange enough, me and Zodi came up with that idea of like, hey, if both of you gave the enemies like a buff that was basically a debuff on them, that it does bad things for the bosses while it's on them, but then beneficial for us if we steal it. That would have been like a really cool gimmick. If we're like, hey, that way his gimmick is that way, worst comes to worst, he has something to benefit the party and help out, at least with his design. But who knows? We haven't seen his actual rework yet, and they don't. And that, from what I heard from listening to Ope Ope with my poor Japanese, I didn't hear anything about it or read anything about it. So hopefully his actual like rework puts that into comes reality, hopefully. But besides that, Lana Rain FR. I think I mean I like it Lana Rain FR like weapons and Balthia's BT weapon.
Yeah.
Balthia's BT weapon being Fomalhaut, the original like best gun, it looks like a straight up cannon, is a good choice. And Lana Rain's weapons being like a chocobo claw and a bomb fist is very nice and cute looking. But besides that, I think they hinted that the FR condition is if you're attacking if you're using AoE, you get a bonus. And then if you're using multiple elements on a skill, then you get a stronger bonus. And to help out with that, Lana Rain FR, while that's the FR up, it chants 5 elements onto your party. So you have fire, water, ice, thunder, and earth. I think those are the 5 elements. It's the same elements that Lana Rain use.
Does it have to be specifically those ones to boost their gauge?
No, I think it's just multiple elements.
Does it just have to be?
Yeah.
Ooh, so then you could pair them with, like, when Sunday gets a rework, I know, nice meme. But once he finally gets where I can use them again, I could see running him with them, because he's got already 3 elements in his kit.
You can use
Now, he
Rydia.
doesn't use 3 at a time, but he still uses 2. Yeah, you could. You could also use, Luna Freyr.
Mm-hmm.
She also has, she needed her
Only if
FR.
you her
Never
FR
mind
is
on
up,
that.
so
Never mind.
if she has FR board, once she
How
gets
the
FR
echoes
board,
would work for
What?
characters like that, because we haven't gotten any echoes for characters that enchant elements. Would you get an enchantment all of a sudden when the FR effect's up? I wouldn't.
no, I think it's only when
Probably
that
not.
specific FR is up. Kind of like how Sid Reigns enables everyone in the party to have launch when his FR is up.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. You're right.
So
That is true.
teams that might actually work is like the Beatrix and Rubicante combo, because you have thunder and fire on Beatrix. Hopefully that's the case, and hopefully it's not that you have to have that specific FR to enable multiple elements on the characters.
Yeah.
Hopefully it's not the latter. What do you think?
Hopefully
Forty?
not.
What?
Oh, about like Lana Wayne FR and Hope, and that the gimmick of the fight probably going to be based around the fact that you need to have like I don't know 2 elements on to be able to cancel out the FR. Hopefully that's or something like that. I have a strong bad feeling that like you know how like Beatrix has Thunder enchant, and
Right.
if you have another enchant on the character, usually I'm not sure how it works. Like if like a specific element overrides the other one, or the other element is more present, or I don't know. Hopefully that
Oh yeah. I guess we're just gonna have to see when it comes out.
yeah, I have a strong
Ho-
feeling that
Hopefully it's not too restrictive, but we're just gonna
yeah.
have to see.
Yeah, and I hate to be like negative about it, but it seems I have a strong feeling that it's gonna be based around Lana Rain, only Lana Rain FR, or at very least Lana Rain FR or Balthia's FR.
Mm-hmm.
But I think all 3 of us should be fine because I have Balthia FR in my inventory still. What about you guys?
Yeah, no, I do too. I definitely do. I ran him a couple of times. He was underwhelming because there wasn't enough stages to use him, but when you could pair him up with someone like Beatrix and whatnot, he was fun.
Yeah, I'll dust him off the bench.
I hope to use him a lot more this time because I do like his character. I do really like the leading man. I know I say, oh, I like this character a lot, but FF12 is in my top 5
Mm-hmm.
for sure. And I hope he's good. I really do hope he's good. He looks pretty solid. I'm not trying to talk in circles, but I hope he's good.
Mm-hmm. So I guess we can end this episode on a more like cheerful note because I think we've been talking like doom posting, or well not doom posting, but just talking more of the negative aspects so far. But predictions on the next Spiritist like summon. So far we have Brothers, Bahamut, Ramu. There's only 3.
Ifrit? No, oh wait, the ones that we currently have.
Yeah. Oh, I know Shiva. So Diabolos, Alexander, Ifrit, Leviathan, Odin, are on the board. I think. Unless I'm missing someone else. I need to type it out so that I can make it easier to see. So
Interesting if it was like Alexander but we had Alexander in the last 6 months. Like something to do with him. But it'd be nice to have him earlier.
wait, Diabolos. So
I know we didn't have vote on that recently.
There's only how many? I completely forgot how many summons we actually have anymore. I think 5 of them are left.
They really need to explore adding more summons than just the current ones that we have. Like I don't understand just having it stuck to that.
Yeah.
I don't get it, but we'll just have to see as the game continues to evolve, or hopefully, as long as it stays alive.
Hopefully,
Because I know that
take
yeah,
into
the
account that the Chocobo question when we asked them like a while ago, and the Q&A is like, what happened about Chocobo and Sylph summon? And he said, well, they were meant to be like intro to summons, but I guess if enough people want it, they will upgrade them.
yeah.
Hopefully. But beyond that, how are you liking your new place, 40?
Great. It's definitely comforting to and a lot more spacious. The house is actually nicer than what we had, and the rent is cheaper. So I think we're definitely blessed. I'm just looking forward to starting work because, yeah, we've kind of had to stretch finances, but it is what it is. Sometimes you have to be uncomfortable to, for a little until, and just weather the storm, but yeah, but we're doing good.
Garage space have like good AC and like
Well, the house does not have AC, unfortunately, but the insulation is good. So even when it's super hot, it's not like super uncomfortable like our old house.
Okay.
And also the location of the house is close. It's kind of closer to like the water, and there's a lot of trees, so it's actually well shaded, like especially during the afternoon sun, where usually that's where it gets the hottest. There's actually a lot of shade, so that the heat doesn't really affect us. It does, but not to an extent as it did back at the old house, where like there was like almost zero insulation, and it was just god awful, like when it was
Yeah,
like
I
super
heard you
hot.
were like sometimes you had to cancel streams because the heat waves were just
Yeah, it was that
nasty.
bad. And then, but we have we have portable AC units installed in several of the rooms. I have one in my office, and then we have one in where the kids are at. Then we have one in our master bedroom, and then we also have these things called swamp coolers, which are like more energy efficient than AC units. So we have those. So, but I mean, we're approaching winter, so we wouldn't really need to consider worry about um, the hot weather. I think we're gonna have like a few more days where it gets a little hot, and then afterwards it should be calming down.
Yeah, right now, like for me at least, it's been getting like mid 70s and cloudy and
Yeah.
even some rains, which is nice. But I think we're finally coming down like the cold season, and where wearing jeans is more is more appealing. Um, are you gonna have like a space where where it's like easier to like record like Magic games?
What's up?
Are you gonna be able to have uh are you gonna be able to set up like a space where you can like record like Magic games easier, like Commander games? Or you still gonna
Oh, I
kind
mean,
of treat it like the online version again, where you have to use like webcams aimed down on our desk?
oh, like that. No, I mean, I could, but the way that my office is set up is it's also partially my gym. So I could do
Mm,
that, but then I would have to move some stuff around. Everything will still be running with my current setup, but I have a little bit more creativity to like set up cameras in like different parts of the room. That's what I'm thinking, like having like different webcams in different areas. So then like let's say like I have one specifically for Magic, I have one specifically for like I don't know if someone wants me to hit the heavy bag or something. So there's a lot more space for that. Whenever you come by, you'll see it. It's a lot nicer.
yeah, I saw your like video, like your up to date like setup, and it looks nice. And then I'm
Yeah.
assuming you just like move the green screen off to the side, and then you can just hit the speed bag
Yeah, well,
easier.
I just took off the green screen because the lighting is actually a lot nicer to where like I don't really need it unless I just want to add like an effect. But I don't really need it. Yeah, 'cause the lighting is great. And I'd rather show off more of like what's behind me rather than like just trying to blend in. And also setting up the chroma key for green screens. Like every time I'm in a new place, it's just annoying because you can never
Mm,
really get the specific color that you need, and I always have to reset it. So yeah, I'm kind of like foregoing using the green screen and just keeping it as it is, whatever is behind me. Yeah, but it's cool. The place is nice.
yeah, it's
There's a
very.
small office right in front of me that my wife uses. So
Yeah, I'm surprised that like garage was it? There used to be like a garage, right?
it used to be a garage, and then it was turned into the original tenants turned it into like a salon because that's what the lady did. But then
Hmm.
and then after that was all done, they changed it to just an office, and yeah,
I think the best
It's
thing
kind
about
of
that
cool.
office is that it has a bathroom in there.
Oh
I
yeah,
know. It
yeah,
has a
that is
bathroom.
awesome.
It used to have a shower, but they had water issues with having a shower in there, so they took the shower out. But it still has the bathroom, which is perfect, so I don't have to run all the way inside the house. Because to get into the office, I actually have to go outside through the backyard, and then the side door leads into the office. I guess that's one uh inconvenience if you want to call it, because like if it's storming,
Oh
I have
yeah.
to walk out in the rain. And there's no door from inside the house that leads into the office,
I-
unfortunately.
Is there
So
like a clear path that you can walk in between, like, so that if it does rain, like, it doesn't like cause a lot of mud or like puddles in between like the road, like your walkway
yeah, there
to the
is.
house? Okay.
There is, yeah. It's just I would still get wet, but it's what it is.
Hmm.
I can't. We were thinking about installing a door from like the kitchen to the office because that's where it's closest to in the house. But the door would just look so out of place, and I don't think the landlords would be for it. So
Uh, Well, good thing that in California it doesn't rain often, so that'd be only a minor thing in like
Yeah.
December and January.
Yeah.
But yeah, very very nice to hear that your place is that you moved into your new place.
I know.
The stress is finally like relieved off of you.
And there's still stress, but it's more so with the kids, but that's normal.
Just like dad stuff.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, there's not the like as far as like work and like living situation, it's gotten a lot better. So
Yeah, been like peeking in on your streams lately. You seem to be like in a much better mood playing just like different games.
yeah, I'm taking a break from DFFOO on Twitch. I'm still putting up YouTube videos, but I'm taking a break from streaming it because I'm going through a burnout with the game, and it's not only me that feels it. There's other people that are feeling the burnout, and it's in a position right now where it's like it's becoming a chore for a lot of people in the community. So
Yeah.
I'm kind of putting it to the side as far as streaming goes, because when I'm streaming, like today I streamed Super Robot Wars. I felt a lot better, and I had a whole lot more fun streaming that. And then DFFOO, where I have to answer a lot of DFFOO questions, and yeah, I had a lot more fun doing that. And then people just talking about anime and stuff like that. It was a lot better.
Yeah, I should probably loan you one. What is it? Which Super Robot Wars do I have? It's the one that caught my eye, where it has specific Gundam series that I watched a bunch of.
I might already have it.
It's the one with that features like Gundam Scene 00.
Oh, I think I have that one.
Oh, okay.
I have that one already. Yeah, I have that one already. Cause yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of iconic music that I was like, brought back a lot of fond memories when I was in high school.
Yeah.
Man, I'm getting old.
I know the feeling, Bobs. I know the feeling. I was talking the other day to my folks, and I was like, "Man, I know I'm not 30. A lot of people always think I'm 30, but I'll be like, I'm a couple of years off from that. And I know 30's still young. You don't get middle age until you hit your 40s. But and it was just like I'm like, damn, I'm like a little more than 10 years off of being 40, but that's still 10 years, and I'm gonna be a uncle soon, believe it or not, because one of my siblings is gonna have a kid. Yeah.
Uncle Zodi.
Yes.
Uncle Matthew.
Yes. And it's just you think, you're like, wow. You just sort of head to, you're like, yeah, I might still be quote unquote young, but I'm definitely not as young as I used to be.
By the way, that's not Zodi's actual name. That's just an inside joke that I call him Matthew because that's like.
No, I know. Yeah, my name.
Because it's like the whitest name I could think of. Even though he's not white.
Nah. Yeah. But no, that's hilarious.
Yeah, I guess the last thing we will talk about is what do you guys, any like cool TV shows or animes or any kind of movies you watched lately?
Cobra Kai.
Oh god,
Okay,
you're loud. Yeah, you've been on that like Cobra Kai hype, and they released all that entire season in one go, right?
Yeah, and I watched it 3 times already. Actually, no, more than that. Because
Damn.
I was rewatching it because I needed to get, because I'm gonna post my review video this week, and I wanted to make sure that I was able to watch everything that I needed to be able to like cover it.
Yeah, that's like good to hear. It's like, how would you rate like the all 5 seasons so far? Like, if you were to binge watch it, out of like, would you recommend it to someone?
Season 1 is still the best because it was a very cool retelling of pretty much the original Karate Kid, only from the Cobra Kai perspective, and then you kind of see a redemption towards the end. I think the worst season is season 2. Not that season 2 wasn't a fun season, but it was the worst because like people were just hot-headed in that, and they did a lot of things that were straight up felonies, and like I'm like, where is the police when this is all happening? Like, they straight up getting away with like breaking somebody's arm for no reason, starting a huge school fight with no adults trying to stop them. So I thought that one was a little too much. I think the most recent season, I would probably rank it as as number 3, because there were some parts that were really slow, and there were parts that were really rushed. So,
And
somebody leave. Oh, there.
no, probably Zodi's internet maybe kind of borked.
Yeah, it just dipped for a sec. It's fine.
Okay.
Well, kind of interrupt.
So
happily
do you need to like watch like if you only watch like the first Karate Kid movie, is that not Karate Kid? Wait, is it? Yeah, the original.
Yeah.
Is that like good enough to just get into it?
You can. It's just that you would appreciate the show more if you watch the 4 original movies. Actually, the first 3, because the 4th movie is they haven't hinted if they're going to bring back Hilary Swank's character, because one, that movie was god awful. The fourth Karate Kid movie was actually, the third one was pretty bad too. But the third one, I would say you need to watch it because there are characters from the third movie that come back. But the 4th movie is probably one that you could pass on unless they somehow announce that Hilary Swank's character will be brought back, because she's technically canon in the story. But I think the problem is that because she's an Oscar award-winning actress, I think getting her on board for like a show like this might be really expensive. But who knows? But I would at least watch the first 3, because once you watch the first 3 and then you dive right into Cobra Kai, you'll be like, well, you'll be pretty amazed by how they wrote these characters 34 years later after the Karate Kid movies.
That's good to hear. So, what about you, Zodi? Have you been watching anything?
Unfortunately, as for like shows, no. I was watching a lot of various YouTube videos. I'm trying to get back into playing Yu-Gi-Oh again. So I've been watching a lot of that. That's actually what I fell asleep to. I don't know if you got that in the whole recording.
Yeah, I think that was
We were live when I said that.
Oh yeah, we were live. I think it was in the pre-show.
Yeah, I've been binge watching a lot of that because I'm trying to catch up on that because I don't know anything really about the Lynx cards, so I'm just trying to learn about how they've changed up the game since, you know, pendulums, because I quit around the time pendulums were introduced.
Oh, big fan. Oh,
Because how that shook up the meta.
Then. I'm sure
Yeah,
you would be willing to catch you up on it.
But yeah, it sort of ties into what 40 said before about people getting burnt out on DFFOO. So I've been trying to scale back on like playing like global or even playing global at all, just because I want to rekindle some old hobbies. And yeah, that's why I've been binge watching a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh YouTubers that are like the high profile ones, and I've been learning a lot about the game again.
Yeah.
So that's what I've been up to, and like I said, I've enjoyed it. I gotta watch a real show though, so I probably will try Cobra Kai sometime, because 40's been very enthusiastic about it, and I thought the original 2 Karate Kid movies, I haven't seen the third one, were good, so if it ties into a lot of that really well, I definitely will give it a watch. Also, wasn't it a YouTube Reddit exclusive originally, and Netflix picked it up? Yeah,
Netflix picked it up because because YouTube Red wasn't gonna continue it, and they had contractual issues with YouTube Red. It was just random too to have it on YouTube Red, because not a lot of people wanted to pay for YouTube Red. Like, I would rather pay for Netflix than YouTube Red, because at least with Netflix, there's like a whole lot more options. With YouTube Red, it's like one off of things that were available. It's like it wasn't really worth it.
Yeah, no, that was like the only quality one what I've seen in the whole pile of originals. Not trying to there's probably some hidden gem out there that I haven't heard about, and I'm not trying to bash that. I'm just saying from what I seen, it looked like a lot of really painfully generic, and then you had Cobra Kai just like stuck out, and they knew it stuck out because they pushed it in their marketing. And I'm just glad that somebody else picked it up so it didn't just fizzle away, because it would have been one of those really niche shows that everyone would have talked about and said, well, man, I wish it had like a 3rd season. So I'm just glad that show is still kicking and doing well. I'll just have to give it a watch sometime. It's definitely in my backlog of shows I want to watch.
Yeah, as for me, I just been watching House of Dragons with Omar, because he got me into the show. It's, I think, it's like a prequel of Game of Thrones. Good watch. Kind of finished watching it with him after this, so yeah. I think that's it for now. You guys want to have any closing words for this episode?
Just enjoy the game for the ride. If you're feeling burnt out, it's okay to take break. It's okay to not finish content when it first comes out, because for a while, well, at least for me, I got into this notion where like I have to finish this right away. But it's okay to wait. Nothing wrong with that. Just enjoy it for what it is. Because as much as possible, you don't want to lose. I don't want to lose my love for this game. I still love the game.
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't want to see anybody else lose their love for the game. It's just that after playing it for over 5 years, it's starting to wear on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. I've had my ebbs and flows as well. I'll second what you said. I'm not trying to cut into what you were saying, but yeah, if you feel like you can't complete it on time, don't stress out about it. Heck, don't worry if other people are like, oh, you can't complete it at this time right now. That's skill issue. Just ignore those people. Take a break. Do what you got to do in real life. Come back to it when you have the time. Play it. If you can't play both servers, just stick to one.
Yep.
Stick to whatever one you feel the most comfortable with. You don't need to play JP and global at the same time.
Yeah.
Just try to have fun.
You don't need to go for all the event tickets as well.
No.
Just do what you can, wait a couple of days, and some people might come up with interesting team comps that you may have already have the characters for, and then be able to clear the content. And then, who knows, you might be able to just solo the content with Rubicante, because he's that good. But yeah.
Yes.
I think that's going to be it for us. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys hopefully in a couple of weeks when the next new OP drops with the next September, October stuff comes out, and hopefully they introduce like Autumn Festival or something. But till then, later guys.
Sounds good. You want to raid Asti?
Oh yeah, definitely.
All right. Take care, everybody.
Bye.